Alright, so this is going to be another replay analysis. This time a little bit of a different ship. We're not doing a DD, we're going to be doing the tier 10 British BB, the Conqueror. I think I just recently unlocked this ship, so there should be a lot to learn. There should be a lot to look at. How to position. What shell type am I using? Because I know the HE is very good in this ship. So let's just get into it. We're also going to touch on some of the main characteristics of how to play a BB. Because I know that's something I struggle with, and it's something a lot of people struggle with. Things like positioning, how to do the most amount of damage without taking too much damage. So you'll notice I'm steaming forward at 3/4 speed. You don't want to overextend on any type of BB, because you're basically asking to get focus fired and die. Again, it's easier to stop than it is to go too far in reverse. So that's the main thinking behind that. If we look at the enemy team, they have the Montana, Kurfürst, Lion, I keep getting those two mixed up, the Monarch and the Tirpitz for the BBs. Things to be wary of. Again, we're kind of lucky in this game where we only have one enemy DD. That's obviously a luxury we won't have in every single game. So this game's going to be a bit of an outlier. But you still have to be wary of the torps coming. Always. And again, that plays into the other part of positioning well, not pushing too far up, taking your shots from range, always being aware of where enemy ships are, what could possibly be happening right now that you're not aware of. So we basically set up, not too far pushed, and we take a very speculative shot on the Hindenburg, which is basically never going to hit. He's always going to turn. But yeah. And you'll notice I'm using HE. The Conqueror is one of the very few BBs, especially tier 10, where the HE is so incredibly effective. And it's so effective that in most scenarios that you're usually going to be taking HE over AP. Now obviously, if there's a pure broadside enemy BB sailing straight at you, then okay, switch to AP. But generally, the HE, I think it's like a 46 or 48% fire chance. Yeah, generally the HE is going to be so much more effective. I'm going to lead to so much more damage output. So it's almost always worthwhile to take that. And again, here's a prime example. I mean, we could shoot. I probably should have switched to AP there, seeing as he was sailing full broadside. But even with HE, we set 2 fires, we got 4 pens and 8k damage. Well, 6k. I already did 2k, I think. But generally, if you're going to be hitting a Kurfürst, with HE, he's going to realize, by the time you switch to AP, he's going to realize that he's sailing full broadside at a Conqueror, and he's going to switch direction, making switching to AP rather pointless. But for some reason, this time he doesn't, so I keep expecting him to turn, but he never turns, so I just keep HE loaded. I can't account for other people's bad decisions sometimes. But yeah, basically at this point we're just damage farming with HE. And now we use damage con on the 2 fires I said earlier, so it's free reign basically to make fires. Because this time they'll stick. Again, we have to be wary of the Z-23. It's pushing really close, so we start to reverse. Always have to be wary of torps. Even though there is only one DD in this game, you always have to be wary of that. And again, as you can see, if you look at the map, generally now, well, I don't know if it's meta or just a recent kind of thing, but teams have a really strange habit of almost pushing to one side of the map only. So as you'll see on the top side of the minimap, basically their entire team's gathered there, and they're gonna, well, maybe they'll push through, maybe they'll just sail around in circles, which happens a hell of a lot. But the team tends to have a strong side of the map and a kind of weak side of the map. They've got to play to that advantage too. I mean, like, one of the most effective strategies is getting a crossfire on the enemy team, and this is a prime example. So if I use the mouse here, this team, their teams all gathered in this area effectively, with only the Zhao here, but that doesn't make much difference. So I think my best point of focus here, obviously I can't really push, I can't push in this direction because the Z23 is here and I'll probably get torped, but if he gets deleted or if he dies or pushes away from that point, my best course of action would probably be either stay here and draw the enemy team on, or push this direction so I can get a crossfire here. And you've constantly got to be making these decisions. Do I stay or do I go? Do I stay or do I go? And it's something you constantly have to be thinking about. I think at a certain point in this battle I actually do move. And there's the torps. It's a good thing we were reversing. We just got out of range in time. Even so, I probably would have only eaten one, so it wouldn't have been a big deal. So yeah, like there's not you just keep firing, keep up your rate of fire. Keep up your rate of fire. Keep setting fires, keep doing damage. And I think at this point I decided to move out. I want to move into a better position to get a crossfire. And that's those shells are a bit dodgy. At this now, the one thing you don't want to do in this ship is you're not a tank. You're not the Kurfürst. You're not the Kremlin. You can't play this ship as a tank. If you start getting focused by maybe 5 or 6 ships, you're in for a really, really bad time. As I've experienced multiple times. But effectively, you're just the main DP. Well, you're kind of the main DPS in the backline, just constantly churning out damage, churning out damage, churning out damage, without ever being the main focus. That's your ideal scenario. And we see now the Z23 is just about to die. At this point, it gives us free reign over the entire map. So we're just going to keep pushing. At this point, I was kicking myself I didn't have AP loaded. That probably would have been a detonation if I had have gotten AP loaded, but you can't have everything. And the reload time's just it's just too long. He gets detonated anyways. The job gets done. And now we're just continuing to push east. Again, they haven't got obviously we're top tier against tier 8s, but again, that shouldn't actually matter all that much. And I'll say again, this game is a bit of an outlier. You're not going to have 1 DD in the majority of your games. So it's I probably wouldn't be playing as maybe as aggressive, but you still have to be constantly thinking about what you're doing. Like right here, I probably wouldn't be going this way. If you look at the minimap, I'd be going around here. Because if there's like 2 or 3 DDs, you're just asking to get torped. like there's no way I would take this like greedy route right here. But seeing as there's no threat, it's basically free reign too. Now I switch to AP. Because I see a full broadside. And I get 2 overpens. Ooh. Conqueror AP. And you can see the Hindenburg. And see now the position I have now is I can either take on the Zau the Hindenburg, or if the Montana wants to engage, I can crossfire on that. If the other no, that's a Monarch. The Monarch's here. If the Monarch pushes too hard, or reverses even, I can crossfire on it. And I can also fire HE on Stalingrad. So I'm in a pretty decent position. I still, to this day, do not know who that came from. I think it was the Stalingrad, but I'm not 100% sure. Could have been the Kurfürst too. Oh, but he's out of range, so it probably wasn't. Yeah, it was the Stalingrad. Because I know from experience, there's no way the Monarch would be able to do that. Such a garbage ship. But this isn't a discussion about the Monarch. This is a discussion about the Conqueror and my analysis of my gameplay. Whew. I mean, the AA isn't too bad in this ship actually. Of like the few times I've encountered like a fair amount of planes, the Conqueror seems pretty adept at dealing with them. It isn't a major concern. Again, we're loading AP for the Zau. I probably aimed a little bit too low on this. Never mind. He was just starting to turn out, and with situations like that, you usually want to aim a little bit higher than the waterline, because you don't want to miss the majority of your shells. But his HP was low enough that it didn't really matter. And then it's just me versus the Leon at this point. The Lion! Holy! It's just me versus the Lion at this point. And there's a reason I free XP the Lion towards the end. God, I hate that ship so much. The Conqueror is just so... there's no comparison, honestly. But yeah, at this point, the 1v1 isn't going to go well for him. I just want to play the perfect balance at this point between getting all my guns on him and not showing too much broadside. So I slowly start... Wait, I should be turning. That's a mistake. Yeah, I should be turning a hell of a lot more. I thought for a second I could break his guns, because I know when I would play the Leon, my guns would break so much. Especially going up against things like the Jean Bart and ships like that. So I thought maybe I could do that. That's why I'm aiming towards the guns. I don't know what that salvo was. But then I decided maybe I could then I'm going to take this heavy salvo, which wasn't that heavy. But I take another salvo here. That's pretty heavy, which means I like, there's no reason for me to be this angled. Like, the Conqueror has pretty good firing angles. There's no reason for me to be this exposed. That was a pretty decent salvo. What, 14k I think. Nothing major though. I should probably be getting a couple more citadels. Again, see, if I was more angled in that situation, that would never have happened. I would never have taken that damage. So that's something I need to be aware of. And taking that heavy salvo actually cost me my death in this game. Because I'm pretty sure if I hadn't taken that, I probably would have survived towards the end, I think. And even now I should be turning more. Because the Kurfürst's right on my ass. And I do decide to turn in now. Well, way too late. I mean, like, look at this. Wait, zoom out. I'm gonna wait till I zoom out. Look, what the? Nice. But look at this firing angle. It's horrific. Now, if I was angle to this way, straight on towards the Leon, I would still have the firing power with my HE shells, but I wouldn't be prone to getting citadeled effectively by the curve first. That being said, the curve first probably does have more problems coming from the Zao and the Hindenburg, but it's still definitely something to be aware of. And now, at this point, I'm going to admit, I just wanted to farm damage. It's going to be a heavy salvo. Yep, and that's why you don't sail full broadside towards the curvers, or any tier 10 BB. At this point, I just wanted to farm damage. And I get 28k on in the midway. And that's basically my game. Obviously I have a fire going on the curve first, but yeah, which takes me up to around 200k I think, roughly. If you round up, it's 200k. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Obviously if I hadn't taken that Citadel, or that 14k from the Leon earlier on, if I had angled more effectively, I wouldn't have died there actually. So it's the earlier decisions in the game affect the later you play so much. I know that just made no sense, but maybe you'll understand it. But anyways, that's pretty much going to be it for my analysis of the Conqueror. It's a really fun ship. Really do try it out.